Is it Dak or Hurts, Damien?
Face the bigger challenge?
Yeah.
It's going to be Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is going to face a bigger challenge. I think, listen, the one thing we talked about with Dak and the Dallas Cowboys, I always said that Dak and the Cowboys are a front-running team. Particularly when the defenses get going, it lets Dak Prescott off the hook. He plays freely. He plays more free. That's the thing that you really notice. Every time that the Dallas Cowboys roll, you always see the Dallas Cowboys, their defense, they creating turnovers, interception, fumble, all those type of things. And then it's like a snowball effect. It just gets going. Then Dak feeds into it. Now all of a sudden he's feeding CeeDee Lamb. Now all of a sudden he's involved in Brandon Cooks. But I always go back to a boxing analogy. What happens when Dak and Dallas Cowboys, when they get a haymaker? I have yet to see the Dallas Cowboys respond when they get a haymaker thrown their way. We saw when they went out in the Bay Area with the San Francisco 49ers. They got a haymaker early, got hit with a haymaker early. They never responded. That's what I need to see from the Dallas Cowboys. I need to see Dak go blow for blow with a good team with the Philadelphia Eagles, who, by the way, they usually play well against Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. I need to see Dak Prescott go blow for blow with the Philadelphia Eagles and ultimately come out on top. I have yet to see that, so that's why I'm going with Dak Prescott.
Okay, well, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, when we talk about Dak Prescott, I would remind you that he's unbeaten in 3 starts against the Eagles, completing 78% of his passes, averaging 293 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, just 1 interception, okay?
This is what we talk about.
Hurts. With 11 sacks, okay? I'm going to tell you the pressure is on Hurts. Here's why. Because he's one of the league leaders, I think second, if I remember correctly, with 11 turnovers this season behind only Desmond Ridder, okay? And we know that the Cowboys are league leaders in terms of forcing turnovers. They forced 13 already this season. If you're Jalen Hurts, especially if that bone bruise in your knee is real and it's something that's really inhibiting you, which we've witnessed, by the way. It's one of those situations where going up against Dallas with Micah Parsons, with this kid, you know, Deron Bland, and, you know, leading the league in pick sixes with 3 this year, with Dallas and the level of pressure they're able to apply. I bring up Micah Parsons because he had 8 quarterback pressures, 8 quarterback hits last week, and I think 7 of them was in under 2.5 seconds. You're not going to have much time to throw the football. You definitely are going to need to be mobile. We don't know whether or not that's going to be the case with Jalen Hurts, but this is what I think, and you're far more qualified to speak to this than me, you know, Biggie. You know, listen to me carefully when I say this. You don't get healthier. Not when you got that kind of injury as the season progresses. And so to me, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm amping up the pressure big time because I'm questioning his mobility. I saw him scrambling against the Commanders. I was getting ready to say the Commodores, thinking Lionel Richie, for crying out loud, because that's how corny I think their name is. But it's the Commanders, okay?
Good golly, Miss Molly, that was a classic.
I saw him scrambling against the Commanders, right? He looked gimpy. If I'm Dallas, I know that too. I amp up the pressure. I make him run. You know why I'm going to make him run? Because it's not just about this weekend's game and how we want to beat him. We want to disable him in a way that ultimately will compromise him throughout the rest of the season, so it could potentially compromise the Eagles' success because we want to win that division crown. And so with that in mind is why I think most of the pressure is on Jalen Hurts coming into this game.
Well, Stephen, we're not talking about pressure just literally. I just have a couple of questions for the congregation. I just want to know, Bishop, which team has the better record?
Eagles.
Okay. Which team has the better roster, top to bottom?
Eagles.
Okay. Which quarterback, week after week, is there a national discussion debate about whether he's good or not?
Dak.
Okay. That's it. Because if Dallas goes into Philly and Dak does not play well or the Eagles lose, what is the conversation coming out of that game? Because right now, the Eagles are already in first place in their division. If the Cowboys lose and drop to 5-2, what are we saying about them? What is the conversation? Versus if the Eagles lose, they still have a better record, and they still face this team again later in the season. And again, which team has been to the Super Bowl more recently? Like, when we talk about the Cowboys, it's not about regular season matchups necessarily. It's about the games against the best teams in the NFC, which the Eagles are one of them, 49ers, we saw how they played against them, and it's about, you know, the other teams like the Lions and the Seahawks. That's the standard right now. We know the Cowboys are a good team. I picked the Cowboys to win the division in the preseason. Like, I thought this team has a good enough roster. Now is their time, right? But we still need to see it. And again, even with Jalen Hurts being gimpy, as you called it, you know that the Eagles are a better team. That's why there's more pressure on Dak and the Cowboys.
Well, see, to me, it says tougher test for Dak or for Hurts. It's not about the pressure. It's about who's going to have the toughest test. It's entirely plausible that the Dallas Cowboys could lose this game and Dak could show up and play well and they'd still lose because their defense may not show up. There are an abundance of ways that the Dallas Cowboys can find a way to fold. And now that the Texas Rangers are the World Series champions, you got a team in the area that's got a championship that's not them, which is amping up additional pressure. This is a beautiful thing. And so what I'm saying to you is this. You're absolutely right, Kimberly.
You have a beautiful mind.
Kimberly. If Dak Prescott goes in there and wets the bed, or even if he's playing well but he throws a red zone interception, or even if he's playing well and he doesn't throw a red zone interception, but you driving downfield and you don't close the deal, that's fine. But if he does his job, but then you got these other cats on the defensive side of the ball that can't find a way to stop A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith or Gainwell or Swift or Hurts. They can't do their job. We're going to be smart enough to notice they didn't do their job, that it wasn't just about Dak, because God forbid in the world that we're living in, we're going to blame Dak Prescott for everything. I mean, no way on earth will Kimberly and Molly and others allow that.
We won't.
They won't allow that at all. They won't allow that.
No, we will not. No. I don't know about you and Uncle Shed.
I actually have more problems with Dak Prescott and his boring-ass press conferences.
Which team do you trust more on Sunday, the Chiefs or the Dolphins?
Me personally, I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this particular situation. And it's for one reason, Kimberly and Biggie. It's by default. It's by default. I don't trust Kansas City's wide receivers. I think it's Travis Kelce and a bunch of parts that ain't working. And that's leaving Patrick Mahomes hanging. They dropping wide open passes. They struggling to get open when they not dropping passes. He can't throw anybody open because even when they are open, they dropping passes. I mean, it is not good. And I think that Tyreek Hill is a bona fide league MVP candidate. I think Jalen Waddle is a stud, okay? We know the rest of the pieces they have in place. We know how effective Tua's been throwing the football. And I know Kansas City's defense is no joke this year and give them a lot of love and respect. They in for a test this weekend. We'll see what they have available to them. Can they answer the call the way the Buffalo Bills did? Can they answer the call the way the Philadelphia Eagles did against the Eagles earlier this season? We're going to find out about Kansas City because their defense is not something we've leaned on when we've, heaped praise upon them over the last few years. But it's really my real reason for feeling the way I feel is really about Patrick Mahomes and the receivers he can't trust.
Biggie?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. A lot of it has to do with the defense. The defense has been, as much as we talk about how uneven Patrick Mahomes and that offense has been, the defense has been playing lights out football. And I think, it's going to prove down the stretch that it's going to be very helpful for a championship run. But also look at, last week they lost. They got beat down by the Denver Broncos in Denver last week. And so I look at a team that's coached by Andy Reid, obviously Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce. They're going to want to get back on track in a big way. And so I think this Chiefs team, they're going to refocus, playing overseas in Frankfurt. They're going to be ready to go. So I trust the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes more so than I trust the Dolphins.
Yeah, you know what? Naturally, Lil' Kim is going to agree with I'm going to say the Chiefs.
I'm not calling you that. No.
Well, no, you can't.
You can't.
No. I'm just saying, as some of us that are familiar with, to some degree, with the history of hip-hop, we are not calling you that.
Okay.
No.
Not literally people.
Okay.
Jeez.
I'm
anyway.
looking out for you, sis. Let's move. Let's move on.
We'll call her Faith. Carry on.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to say the Chiefs. Derailed. I'm going to say the Chiefs as well. Number one, I trust their quarterback more. Number two, Travis Kelce. To your point, Steven, Travis Kelce even talked on his podcast about the offensive issues and how receivers aren't making the plays. They're not catching the easy touchdowns that Patrick is literally putting in their lap. They're not blocking the way they're supposed to be doing. But also, again, Damien, to your point about them losing last week, that's an embarrassing loss. You have Patrick Mahomes dealing with the flu, but coming off that game, I feel like the Chiefs are going to put together a game plan. You talk about Tyreek Hill. I mean, who knows him better than the team that he used to play for? And this defense that the Chiefs have, this might be, we're talking about Patrick and we're talking about Tua, we're talking about Tyreek and Travis. The Chiefs defense might actually be the unit that we are talking about on Monday morning. And we're talking about how they were able to keep this high-flying, high-octane Dolphins offense grounded. So I actually trust the Chiefs because of their quarterback and their defense.